Oh my God.
Hi. Is anyone here?
Like 3 minutes late as well.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes,
everyone.
very sorry. We had a few technical issues, but we are here.
You'd never know. We're fine. Very composed. We're just waiting.
Yeah, we'll wait to see if anyone joins us.
Or if anyone doesn't, we can just...
we'll just chat amongst ourselves.
Sign off.
Are we live, guys? Are we here?
Oh, okay. Vicky's here.
And
Dave. There are a few other people.
They're popping on now, are they? Hi, Angus.
Hello. Hi, Mark. I wonder where Mark is today. Are you in the UK, Mark, at the minute, or are you jetted off somewhere again? I don't know how long to wait.
I know. How are we looking?
Oh,
Richard's here as well. And Andrew.
Victoria.
Yeah, we've got a few people joining us now, haven't we?
So we're here today. We've just come back from... Oh, Mark's in London. Nice. We've just come back from doing Tour de Mont Blanc last week.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be good.
We're still a little bit dazed from it, to be honest, but we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, it was our first day back yesterday, wasn't it? After like 2 nice weeks off, so we're a little bit rusty.
Yes.
But we thought it'd be cool to come on and talk about what Tour de Mont Blanc was actually like.
Yeah, and we'll do a bit of other things as well as some trip prep, training, whatever anyone wants to talk about actually as well. If you've got any questions, just let us know too. Jerome's here too.
Jerome's here. Jerome did the trip with us. Was an absolute champ, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not sure if like a lot of you hopefully have seen a lot of his posts that's been going out,
definitely.
Which has been super helpful. Yeah. So, you know, when you're doing the trip and you're just like, I actually don't remember like what we did that day or where we were.
I've been trying to go through it myself, and I've done I think 4 days of it. So Jerome,
it's nice to look back
to
on. Yeah. So yeah, we thought we'd kind of go through kind of what our expectations were of the trip first. Yeah. Like, how did you train? Like, what did you think that was going to be like?
So, I'll be honest, I did think it was going to be a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot easier. I didn't think it would be as challenging, I'll say, rather than a lot easier. I you know, it's obviously it was going to be, it's over a number of days. There's a lot of mileage included and all the rest of it. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we worked out, didn't we? We did like, was it 60 or 66?
66, I think it was.
66 miles over a 7 day span. Yeah. So it was a lot, wasn't it? And I don't think any of us were kind of expecting.
And it was and again, it sounds obvious when you're saying it, but it was either like this or like this.
Yeah. I think going into it, I was like thinking, oh, it'll be like the Sound of Music. Like we kept singing the sound of music on the way. And I thought, oh, it'll be lovely. Like when you think of Europe, you think, oh yeah, you've got your luxuries. You know, I'm going to be able to shower every night, which like you are. Yeah. And you think, oh, a lot of home comforts compared to kind of like camping, like you are on Killy. You know, you are in either hotel or like bunkhouse accommodation. So you do have a lot of those comforts. So I suppose it does kind of throw you off a little bit, doesn't it? That the walking is so intense, isn't it? Yeah.
You're out for a long period of time, aren't you? And it's you know, it's heat as well. It feels like a very long day, doesn't it, when you get back? You know, but you do, as like you said, you get the comforts, you get a nice meal at the end of it, you can sit down, you can have a drink if you want to, you know, that's there available, and you have got the comforts as well, but still you feel like you deserve it when you get back.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you have a day of it and you're like, oh my god, I'm shattered, and then by the end of the day you're sat having a pint, or you've got a glass of wine in your hand, and you know, you're eating a steak and you're like, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like,
it was actually amazing.
And like the views were like incredible. Like all my videos like are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm just in the back.
I can't. Yeah, I tried going through them. I can't pick through them at the minute. They just. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, so many amazing.
It's incredible though. I loved it though. What was your training like then? What do you do training wise?
So I did do quite a lot of hiking with the dog, I guess. So that's my main training, I guess, at the moment. Obviously with my knee and running, that's a no-go. But yeah, so a lot of walking with the dogs. I try to go to the gym a few times a week as well. That's mainly weight training. But yeah, we go up. So when I go walking with the dog, it's a lot of hill walking, mountain walking. So that's my main.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of weeks off, hadn't I? Like I'd had, about 4 weeks of not properly training before I went because I hadn't been very well. So I was a little bit nervous about that. But usually my training consists of like Stairmaster twice a week, maybe a run or two in there, and then the rest is weight training.
Yeah.
But I was nervous, but I was under the impression like it was going to be like, not too difficult, like. And it wasn't, but I was fine because I had like a good level of fitness anyway.
Yeah,
we did. That we all managed fine, didn't we? We all had slightly different paces, and that was something to kind of think about. Like you're not really at altitude, you're not feeling, like breathless, any effects like that. So like we were able to maintain like a normal walking pace, if that makes sense, for ourselves. Obviously, everyone in the group had different paces. Yeah. But one thing I found that was good, like on the trip, when we did have those like steep climbs, our guide Nadia, she was brilliant at like maintaining the pace. Yeah, I think we were all a bit nervous for a couple of days where there was a really steep incline.
I think it took a few days, didn't it, to get into that groove with it, because it was like, as I said, like a lot of up at first and a lot of downhill. We were all just kind of out of pace a little bit. I think the first.
We got stronger as we went on.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like the last few days, I wouldn't say it definitely wasn't easy, but I felt like I was in a good place.
We were in survival mode. Is what happened.
No, but we felt like we were strong enough to do it, and we were like, right, we know what's in front of us now.
Yeah, you know what to expect more, don't you? I think by then.
I was laughing at Dave's comment too as well.
Dave said, Rosie called me to tell me how hard the trek was while sipping beer and eating a steak. I got mixed messages. I was feeling confused as well. Should we have a little look through some of these?
We had some lovely meals out there as well, didn't we, actually?
Yeah, I mean, we've been telling the guys all about the food. Because Jerome said I had a different pace, 10 minutes behind everyone else.
But that was absolutely fine as well, wasn't it, Jerome?
Yeah, I mean, we were all a bit younger than you, so you absolutely held your own though.
Yeah,
oh my god, you did really well. And everyone else is just being friendly and saying hello. So we talked about training. What sort of like prep did you do about like for the trip?
Yeah, so
or wish you'd done?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's much. I would have packed differently, I think. That would just slightly.
We spoke about that, didn't we?
But beforehand, then it was, your general things like making sure the insurance was the correct sort of insurance for it.
What insurance did you go with?
I went for Big Cat in the end. That's just the one I looked at and happened to have a good sort of price for. That's what I went with at the end. What did you go with?
I went with True Traveller. I always just go with True Traveller, but it's only because I never even look at anywhere else. It's only because their website is so easy to use. I just type in like Tour de Mont Blanc and they're like, this package will cover you. I'm like, okay, perfect.
I did have to speak to somebody because of my issue with my knee. But they were absolutely fine about it and helped me out, so it wasn't.
That's good. That's so good. One thing I was like so relieved I did was I reproofed my water boots.
I did the same. my walking boots, the hiking boots.
I reproofed my walking boots that are very tatty and old now, but
and jackets or anything like that. I did both.
Definitely. I mean, for any trip, I guess, but like I know the group that went the month before us had a severe amount of rain.
We were pretty lucky with me. I think it was one day.
There was one day, but it was so warm. We were still all just in shorts, and we had all like waterproof trousers in our bags, and it was just like it wasn't needed, was it?
It was sort of like you'd take it off, put it on, then about 10 minutes later you'd take it back off, and then you were like, am I too hot? But we did use them, so you definitely need that sort of thing, because the weather could be, again, it could change.
And I had a group call with the group that are going next month. Oh no, like in 2 weeks, like next month in like 2 weeks time. And I was saying to them, like, you look at the weather every night anyway, so if you like when you're packing your day pack, because it's so hot, you don't want to be carrying anything extra. You're carrying a lot of water because it is so hot. And I just said, like, look, like your guide will help you. Like, look at the weather beforehand. Like, you don't need to pack your waterproof trousers, because that's what we did on the first couple of days, didn't we? Like, in case. Right. Like, actually, like, it really isn't necessary. So I think it's only one day. Like, I should have carried my waterproof trousers with me.
Yeah, and our guide Nadia, every single day, she would take us through, the route that we were going to be taking, what the weather was supposed to be like. She always mentioned taking your waterproof jackets. There's parts as well. My waterproof jacket is really windproof as well. So there was parts on the higher passes where it was a little bit chillier, wasn't it? That you might want a jacket.
But it was just a case of kind of putting a like you said, windbreaker on or something just to take. But it wasn't like we were all still in shorts, weren't we?
Yeah.
It was lovely. We've come back with nice tans, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Some weird tan lines, but
yes, definitely lots of tan lines.
But yeah, no, that's. And also we kind of talked about, we both packed kind of in our EverTrek duffel bags, just because we thought we'd represent, and it was so impractical. Like, it wasn't,
because we had to sort of like that around them between every place. So
and we had a bit of a mission, like get into the airport. It was so impractical, and we were kind of like going around the busy bus station at like 2:00 in the morning in London. And like knocking people out, like, because we got this huge duffel bag.
As soon as we got to the airport, it was like, where's the pound together? The trolley. But so
you can like take a case, take whatever's easiest for you. Definitely, like, we wish we'd had, like, we just ended up like dragging them at some points because it was
down steps.
Yeah, it was really impractical, because obviously all your luggage is transported like via vehicles. You don't need to worry about like being practical for like a porter or anything like that to carry.
Sounded like
Jerome said, hi Rosie, but it did get cold. Also the Coles. I think Coles is passes, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were on pack some warm windproofs. 100%. I mean, that layer just makes all the difference, and having little layers like that do help.
You're quite sort of cold compared to me, aren't you? So I only ever took my my waterproof jacket where you did take a fleece.
I took a fleece most days.
But again, I run very hot. For me, I put it on when it was raining, when I was getting wet, and I also put it on one of the passes, I think, where it was really windy. But other than that, I didn't feel the need for it at all. But again, people have different sort of temperatures. So.
And one thing I did say yesterday to the guys, like, taking even just like your EverTrek buff with you makes a massive difference, and it's good for like that warm weather as well. Like there's so many kind of streams, waterfalls that you pass if you want to like wet it and then kind of use it to cool yourself down, or like putting it on and to like warm yourself up. It makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
I've just seen Sean's comments. So Sean was on the trip with us too. Minimum clothing for the rain. So I don't know if we want to quickly go into that. Maybe
Sean was an absolute champ.
Yeah.
They had a complete mare. They went from Manchester, didn't they? Went Manchester, Amsterdam to Turin, and their
luggage didn't follow them.
Their luggage just went AWOL, and poor things, like, and this is like so important, like I think it could have happened to anyone, couldn't it? But obviously if you do have a transfer, really do think about like what you're wearing when you travel and what you're taking in your hand luggage.
They had prepared, hadn't they? They did have their backpacks. They had their
They were like the
boots.
best example.
Yeah, they were. They had their shorts, the sort of a few different bits.
Yeah, like they packed like, you know, some toiletries with them and stuff. So yeah, I mean they managed, but KLM were a bit rubbish, weren't they? In trying to like get the bag. The bag was just sat in Turin Airport, wasn't it, whilst we were on the trip. So bless them, they had a bit of a mare with it. But you know, if you do have a transfer kind of, but do think about that. And we even said that
we took our boots in
our hand luggage. Yeah. But actually, what were we wearing? Like
I just had leggings and a top.
Yeah, like
I did have a pair of shorts and a t-shirt in my bag.
I didn't, so I would have really struggled. Like if my bag hadn't turned up.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I was in like denim shorts or like it would have been so impractical. Like I'd have been, I'm not doing it, I haven't got all my stuff. It is really horrible and it throws you off, doesn't it? Because you don't know what to expect. You like, you know, you want all of your kit there that you've prepared.
Yeah, you buy things especially for it as well, don't you? Sort of like, right, I've got this ready for my trip now. And then for it just not to be there when you need it, you're just like, oh, okay, what am I doing? What do we do now? Yeah. So yeah, do really think about that. Obviously, make sure your insurance has like a good policy. Like, do read the fine print. Like, it's so annoying, but it's even more annoying if you do actually have to like claim, and then you realise, I'm not covered for it, or like the policy's rubbish, and I don't really like, you know, I've had to buy all of this stuff whilst I was out there, and I'm not, you know, can't get reimbursed for it. Is a total nightmare. So like, you know, hopefully you'll never be in that position, but do think about it, because it's a nightmare otherwise. Yeah, definitely.
It's a nightmare. What else did I have on my list? The actual trip then, like, do you want to talk a little bit about like what the trip like was like day to day?
So it's a bit of a blur at the moment, isn't it? We've been trying, like I was saying earlier, I've been trying to go through day by day, arranging the pictures, arranging where these were from.
Oh, there we go. There's one. I was lying in the grass at that point together, and that was like the one section of flat that we had. That was beautiful. That was on the last day. Where did we finish the trail? I'm not sure.
It was La Viseo. There's me and Nadia, the guide. I think this was like sort of the middle of the trip.
Day two. Was that day two?
It was where we had the meal
with all the cows. Yeah. That was as we were in Switzerland at that point. So that was at the start of the trip. That was in Italy.
Oh, here we are.
There we go. That was at the Lac Blanc. That was supposed to be our rest day. But it was about 6 miles, wasn't it, up and down?
Yeah, it was beautiful though.
Oh my god, it was stunning.
We had the cable car up, didn't we, so far? Yeah. So we had sort of 3 options for that day, didn't we? We could either have a complete rest, walk the whole route, which I'm glad we didn't do.
Yeah.
Or we could have the cable car up, and then it was still like, you know,
550 meters up, I think it was, wasn't it?
But it was very rocky.
I mean, that's something to be said about the whole trip. I mean, the paths were pretty rocky the whole way, whether it was a dust and big rocks or just small rocks. Like it was all the rocks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was super rocky, wasn't it? But that Lac Blanc, like I'm glad we did it, because it was incredible. Like
I was as well. Yeah.
So beautiful. Like these like gorgeous blue lakes like nestled in, and then you've got like, you can see Mont Blanc behind you, and it's like, it is stunning.
We had lots of pictures there actually. That's one day I haven't actually gone ahead and done yet, but yeah, there were so many nice pictures on that day.
Yeah,
I think Jerome was saying a few bits here.
Rest day, lol, he said. and tree roots, so just being careful on your footing, I think, is something.
We did have a couple of slips, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think I went on my first. That was on some snow, in my defense, but I did go sliding down the bike as well.
It's crazy. Like the group yesterday were like, oh, is there like snow? Like, do we need crampons? Like anything like that? No, you definitely don't. There were like a few sections of snow, but like typically when you're using your poles, like you've got enough grip anyway. Yeah. You did fall still. And then who fell? Did Jerome wipe Ellie out?
No, I think Ellie wiped Jerome.
Yeah, so Ellie, Sean's partner, fell and just wiped Jerome out en route. Which was brilliant. There is a video somewhere, so that'll have to come out. But yeah, no, that was good. But it was stunning, like the scenery and the mountain.
Fell with my paws.
Dave just said, hang on, Jodie fell with my paws. Yeah.
They're still intact. I did say this a few times, didn't I? I'll be going back and I'll be like, you've got one paw.
But the poles were a lifesaver, weren't they? I
wouldn't have done it without it. I don't think it would have been.
No, well, two of the guys did turn up without poles because they just have never had walked with poles before. Mm-hmm. So I totally get, like, it is a bit alien. And
yeah.
I got introduced to poles just before I went to Machu Picchu, and it does feel a bit weird, but you do, like, really quickly, like, they don't feel like a burden, do they?
It makes so much of a difference, and you barely notice that they're really, as in, like, carrying something sort of way. And obviously you can always pop it back on your bag when it's it's not an issue.
And I like we used the Lecky ones, didn't we?
Pritesh just asked then, what poles would you recommend?
Yeah.
It was like, you knew.
Yeah, we used the Lecky ones. I actually did have, up until the last training weekend, they broke on me. One of them broke, but I just got originally a cheap pair of the regatta ones. That lasted me, like, they did quite a few trips with me, quite a few training weekends, Machu Picchu, Tubcal, and they were like budget ones. So it depends, like, how often you're looking to use them. I had a major panic the day before we went, and I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot my pole, so I had to borrow Zach's posh ones. But there's some ones that are like kind of spongy, like my Grata ones like had like a spring in it, so it was like, I don't know, like, how to explain it, but
sort of feel it,
yeah. But then some of the Lecky ones don't have that and are like carbon. It's kind of a case of like just seeing what kind of suits you, I guess, isn't it?
I'll be honest, I've only ever used Dave's poles. I used them on Killy and for TMB. But it's something that I was actually thinking about this while we were away. It's something I want to sort of invest in, I think.
A good pair.
A good pair for walking around. Like, I want to get out a little bit more, especially while the weather's as nice as it is at the moment, for maybe a week. So we'll see. But yeah, it's something that I'm going to look at investing in, I think.
Yeah. Someone said at the last training weekend, it takes about 30% of your the impact of your knees. So,
it's crazy.
When you think about, like, you're like, how much you've struggled with your knee and stuff, like, it's definitely, worth trying out. And yeah, like we said, for this trip, it is literally a case of going up or down. There is not an awful lot of flat at all. So yeah, they will help you, and they're light as well. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to mess around with them, forget it.
I think it gives you a bit of peace of mind as well, doesn't it? Especially with going downhill, I think, with me, when it's quite gravelly, and
it's unsteady anyway.
It's a little bit slip. You feel like you can slip. It's something that you've got that, like, it makes me feel more comfortable, that I've got a bit more control. And especially a trip like that, there is not that it's super scary. I know Jerome was worried about it before we went as well, but there are drops on there, so you've got to sort of take care of where you're walking. Just make sure you've got your wits about you basically with it.
Yeah, for sure.
The poles definitely give me peace of mind as well.
Zach's suggested his Kumbu Lackeys. Yeah, they're the ones I used. They were really good.
And the ones Dave have got, I can't remember which ones he's got, but he can probably tell you.
I mean, we all had different poles, didn't we?
Yeah.
Jerome has a mid-range aluminium telescopic pole, comfortable and perfectly adequate. And Jerome's done plenty of trips, so yeah, it's like I mean, it is one of those things you probably don't need to spend a fortune on, is it? It's
no, it's not. Yeah, and it depends how much you're going to be using them and things like that as well. But yeah,
because I typically wouldn't use them in this country. Like dependent on when I was, unless it was like a huge hike.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're great. Shall I look at some of these questions?
Sorry, I mean Jody's poles are. I will bring them back, I promise.
How did someone's asked, how did TMB compare to other treks you've done?
Okay.
You've obviously done Killy.
Mm-hmm. It's so different. It's just it's hard to sort of compare exactly.
Someone said it's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Like they're both treks, but
it's obviously the big difference is the altitude. That's something that I was so worried about before Killy as well. And you can feel it, it doesn't matter how fit you are, sort of thing. You still feel your breathing going a little bit, and everything feels like harder work than you feel like it should do. I've said this to you, nothing sort of compares to Summit Night on Killy for me so far. I'm sure there are lots of other difficult treks, but for me, but generally day to day, a lot of the days on TMB, I'd say were more difficult than your general day to day on.
Yeah, I mean, like TMB, you're doing it. It's endurance, isn't it? You're covering a lot of miles. 8, 9, 10, 11 miles a day.
It does vary, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think the first day was probably one of our longest, wasn't it? And I think that sort of shocked us all.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, this is
not as luxury as I was anticipating this to be.
It's good.
But yeah, it's just different, isn't it? Any kit you couldn't have gone without? I mean, kit, poles.
Just quickly to go back, Jerome has just said, in my humble opinion, the TMB is similar to Killy Summit Night every day, with sunlight. I can't swear.
Oh my god! Start again.
Let me start again. In my humble opinion, the TMB is similar to Killy Summit Night every day with sunlight and more oxygen.
Okay.
So, obviously, there's different. We're all sort of going to find a different the trips differently. I don't know. Maybe I did struggle quite a bit on Summit Night, as in I was so tired. I just felt like I was sort of in a daze the whole time. It wasn't. For me, then TMB, as difficult as some of the climbs were, I was like still able to look around and be like, wow, it's so amazing here. Whereas I just cried on the summit of Killy. So it was different for me, but obviously everyone's different as well.
Yeah. It's still really fresh for you, isn't it, Killy? You didn't do it last year.
What did you think about Machu Picchu then? Did you?
Well, I really struggled on Machu Picchu. I found it difficult.
Yeah.
There was an acclimatization day on the first, your first trek, and that was that. I found that solid. I'd never been at altitude before, and you are high. You're going over you start in Cusco, which is at altitude anyway, and then you go up and you're like over the height of Tubcal. And so I found that really hard, but it's much less. Oh, there we go. But as you can see, I'm in the green there, and I wasn't as fit as I am now. I was carrying a lot more weight. My training was vastly different. Like I've said it a million times, so it's really hard. Like I don't know how I'd feel like if I were to go back. Like how I'd feel like comparing them like that, but I mean, you weren't covering the distance that we were doing, although you were at altitude. And you do get used to it, the altitude, because you're not going like that much higher than you are on the acclimatization day. So, it's different. But I would say probably TMB is harder just because of the endurance aspect of it.
It's a physical trip, isn't it? You know, it's getting up every morning knowing that, and as I said earlier, Nadia, the guide will go through the elevation, the descent, you know, she does all of that before you go, so you know what's in store. I don't know if that's helpful sometimes or not, but
well, there were some days that she was like, tomorrow it's going to be like really hard, and we were like, oh my god, like today was horrendous. But then like we did it and we were like, oh no, that was fine. You know, so you can get, and I'm terrible for it, aren't I? I've got myself really worked up a few times. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be really difficult.
I'm a bit more sort of, I just go with the flow. I'm like, well, I'll get there all I want. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Let me have a look at the next couple of questions, see if there's any more. What was the food like?
It was a mix, wasn't it? It was.
I think it depended where we were staying. Though there was a couple of nights, wasn't there, where we were in like bunkhouse kind of accommodation, or like a hostel accommodation. So like it wasn't as good, but it was like, it was fueling you. Do you know what I mean?
There
it was
a lot of it
meals.
as well, wasn't there? Yeah, it was. You were never sort of feeling like you were going without.
Oh God, no.
It was usually sort of a couple of courses.
You're like 3 courses like every night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the majority, like I said, we had steak like a couple of nights. Like, it was delicious.
We went there twice as well, didn't we, to the same place.
One night there was just cheese, wasn't there? Just cheese on the menu.
Fondue,
or like this cheese bake with like just cheese, like mushrooms and a bit of bread, I think was in there.
Yeah.
There was so much cheese.
It was a lot of cheese.
That was in Chamonix, wasn't it? And then the next night we had steak. But yeah, I'd say we ate very, very well, and that's what was so nice. Like it's European food. You can have meat. You know, you're not at altitude, so you know we were keeping hydrated. Like, you know. It was nice to sit and chill in the evenings after a long day. It was so nice,
yeah. I think because it was, you know, they were tough days, it was nice to just actually sort of sit, reflect together, and just like have a chill out together, basically. Yeah, it was so nice.
Definitely. And like lunches aren't actually included, and we were thinking we were going to kind of have to fend for ourselves, weren't we, each day? But because the trail is like so obviously so popular, you know, you're on the TMB, there are at the top of a lot of the passes, there are like refuges, like, you know, huts. So we were able to have like hot meals for lunch as well.
Yeah, we stayed in we had some really nice meals in some of them, didn't we?
Really nice, yeah. So, and like, you're literally in the middle of nowhere. And most days do consist of like you go up and then you come down. So like up is literally halfway. So time's really nicely, doesn't it, for lunchtime? So our guide like reserved tables for, like, spoke to us all the day before, didn't she? She was like, do you want me to reserve this table? And we were, please.
Oh, yeah, and lovely like roast. What was it, ROSIE? Remember? With
the cheese and bacon? There was like a.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a cheesy, like fried potato, just like cheese and bacon, wasn't it? It was just like this whole,
it was amazing.
It was delicious.
I don't think any of us wanted to do any more hiking after, though, did we?
No, because you sat in the sun, like, you're like, oh yeah, it's lovely, like nice view behind you. But the food was pretty good. We ate really well, didn't we? Yeah, and it's nice to be able to have flexibility with that. Anything you wish you'd take? Anything, like, someone's asked anything you wish you'd have taken, which we answered. But anything you wish we'd like not have taken with us?
I took too much sort of warm clothes. You know, I took I knew that the weather was supposed to be warm, but I wasn't sure how it was going to be on the higher paths and things like that. So I took sort of like a fleecy buff, which I definitely didn't need. I didn't wear trousers the whole time. I could and shorts the whole time. No, I just didn't. For me, I didn't feel the need to. My legs are so pasty; they need to get out in the sun. They don't get a chance very often.
Yeah.
I would have maybe taken an extra top, t-shirt technical sort of t-shirt or two, and I took 2 fleeces, which I don't think I wore either of them at all.
Yeah. I took 2 fleeces and I only used 1.
Yeah. So there was the sort of bulky items as well. I'd still, if I was going again next year, I'd still take 1 pair of trousers. I'd still take 1 fleece, and 1 long sleeve top.
Yeah.
And the rest would be more for the summer.
Shorts, short sleeves, yeah, definitely.
You never know, just in case, you might.
And it wasn't like the end of the world that we packed some of that warmer stuff. Like they stayed in our bags that we weren't carrying. They weren't like, we were like, we obviously had our international flight kind of weight limit, so 23. I think we were like 16 kg like in our bag, so it wasn't like we'd had to sacrifice other things. They literally just stayed in our bags the whole time. It wasn't a massive issue, and it's better to have it and not need it than the other way around, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just trying to think, was there anything else that we talked about?
Another thing that I would definitely recommend would be earplugs as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the shared accommodation and things.
Some nights. Yeah, it's like shared mixed dorms, which is different, isn't it? But yeah.
For me, I struggle to get to sleep unless I'm like completely like I've got to be in the right zone. So I had to sort of shut everything out basically.
I think I packed an eye mask as well. I didn't use it, but it was quite handy because obviously sometimes, like, dependent where you are in the room, like you can be like right by the there's rubbish curtains and stuff in there sometimes. So if that affects you, then that can be quite handy to have.
I can't think of anything else though that I wish I would have had with me. I can't think of anything in conversation we had like I wish I'd brought this with me.
Yeah, we were pretty good, to be fair, weren't we?
Probably more socks as well. It was just so hot, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose that's something to kind of comment on. Because you are able to like shower every night, which on other trips you're not, like, do make sure that you are, like, we didn't think about it, but like make sure you are packing like enough underwear, like, because you are able to change every, like, it's not like Killy or whatever where you've got to like reuse a lot of your clothes. You can kind of afford to like have
freshen up basically.
So you don't need to be slumming it as much in that aspect. So like do pack enough of stuff because you've got enough weight limit to kind of do it. Right. Pritesh has said, did we do the 4 or the 7 day trip? So we only offer 1 TMB trip, and it's 9 days total, 8 days walking, but we did 7 days walking, didn't we? So you do in the itinerary, you can do a short walk on the day, your arrival day. So you get picked up from the airport at 12 as a group. So dependent on when your flight kind of arrives, kind of hold tight. Someone will arrive with like an EverTrek sign. Jerome actually was like really smart and was wearing his EverTrek t-shirt, which we didn't do. We were kind of just like smiling at some people that like look kind of lost, like, ew, here, no. So yeah, but there was like plenty to like, we were knackered, weren't we? Because we'd been traveling for like far too long.
And Jerome was the same, I think, wasn't it? Because of that, we had a sort of road issue in Gatwick as well, didn't we? So we had to get an earlier bus through the night and then an early flight. So we were just so tired.
Yeah. So when we arrived in Comayer, we met our guide and she was like, how are you all doing? And we were like, oh, like we're so tired, like not slept. And she was like, well, listen, guys, like if you just want to kind of chill, go grab some food, have a bit of an explore of Comayer because it's gorgeous, isn't it?
So pretty, yeah.
She was like, don't worry about doing the walk today. And that's what we decided as a group that we'd prefer to do.
There was a race there as well, wasn't it?
It was a really nice atmosphere there, wasn't it?
It was so busy. So
it was like a TMB race.
We just walked around, didn't we? Had a little sort of wander.
A few drinks,
yeah.
But yeah, no, so that was nice, wasn't it? Just to kind of settle in a little bit and get a good night's sleep. But yeah, so it's like 7.5 days walking really. also asked, am I right in saying that you shouldn't place your hands into the straps? I was told that because that this is because just in case you fall or slip, you don't want to hurt or twist your wrist whilst falling. This is for the poles, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that we did have some poles in the office, didn't we? There's like a little loop. I've always been told that you go up the loop and then grab on, rather than down. And then grab on.
Yeah, I'm trying to like work out how I do it now.
So there's like a little loop hanging, and then you go up and then hold on. But then some people like don't have the strap at all. Like it's whatever you're comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah.
I like leaning on the strap.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you fell, I don't think it would. If you go
if you like let go, then it like drops rather than like messing around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't think
you'll kind of see what we were talking about. Like if you have one there with you, like you can
just go under. But I've not heard about anyone saying that you shouldn't use the strap at all.
Oh no, I hadn't. That's what Dave's always taught us.
Yeah.
So Dave can chime in if he's still listening. Sam,
Andrew just said the correct grip is essential for efficient use of walking poles. Put your hand through the loop from underneath, enough so that the loop goes to about the wrist, and then grab hold of the handle. When the strap is the correct length, it should allow you to grip the handle comfortably. Yeah.
There we go.
That's exactly what we were trying to say.
Making the right hash of that. Sam Weller has asked, is TMB technical?
No, it's not technical. As we've chatted about, it's endurance sort of thing. It's physical, but it's definitely not technical. The most you do is you go over a couple of snowy patches.
But nothing ever enough to kind of...
You might want to use your hands to go up some rocks
warrant kind of crampons or anything. In fact, our guide
didn't she?
She did have crampons with her. And I guess at some parts, like dependent on when you're trekking and dependent on what the weather's been like, you may, if there are like vaster stretches of like snowy ice, you may want to use crampons or spikes. But the time of year we went, it just wasn't necessary at all, was it? It'd be like going up to like...
maybe it was necessary for me, I don't know.
It'd be like going up like your local mountain and there being like a little bit of snow at the top. Like you wouldn't even think about, you'd be careful with your footing, but you would never think, oh, I should have brought my crampons with me. Like that's how I would explain it. Richard said ROSIE is delicious. Did you have a raclette? No, that was what I was talking to you about. That's the big piece of cheese, and you go.
We were talking about it when we were on the.
We should have done it.
We actually stayed in Chamonix for 2 extra days, didn't we? So we were,
after the trip.
Yeah,
we stayed after the 2 nights during the trip, and then we went back, didn't we?
And we were talking about. I don't know why we didn't.
I think we were a bit cheesed out after that
we had
one.
A lot of cheese,
we'd eaten so much cheese.
So we just went for different things, and we had an Indian takeaway.
We had an Indian the one night and stuff, and then the Asian thing, the chicken.
Yeah, it was nice.
We ate really well. But
we had a lovely time, but it was something that was on my list though to do, but unfortunately not.
Oh, Vicky said, the pole situation is still going. Vicky said, Smurf, the mountain guide, advised us to take hands out of the straps completely when terrain gets really rocky, especially downhill, to avoid wrist or arm breaks if you thought that. I mean, that's perfect advice as well.
It is.
Yeah, take Smurf's advice over ours. Because...
But I think... For I don't know if it's you feel the same as well. If you feel like you need your hands at all, even for rocks, I always just sort of put the poles, either just put one away and just like.
I mean, there were some sections, like very short sections, where you did need to like use your hand to like hoist yourself up a little bit, didn't you? Like, just over the rock. Like, I mean, for anyone that's done Tube Cal, it's kind of like that terrain, like it is very, very rocky.
I'm just laughing at Sam's comment. Sorry, he said very European.
Good old Indian.
we'd had a lot of
Well, we passed it the one day, didn't we? And then we were like,
it was called Annapurna as well.
Yeah, it was.
It?
There was two as well.
Yeah.
There was 2 Annapurna restaurants.
Yeah. So we were, yeah.
And oh no, I don't know what it was. We should have made the most of like the cheese whilst we were there, but we were just like, yeah, Indian sounds really good. That's so British of us, isn't it?
It is.
Right, any other questions? Oh, Bev asks, what style boots did you have? I've got my robust ones from EBC. Will they be appropriate or too much? I don't know what you mean, like specifically by robust. If you'd like send a picture in, via email, we can definitely have a look. But just like general, like
I've got
hiking boots.
Solomon Quest, I think. Something. Yeah, I can't even remember the exact name of mine now. But yeah, they were great for Killy. They were great for TMB. You just need, obviously, as we were saying, like the terrain is mixed. So I would definitely say majority of the days you need the ankle supports. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we saw people who were like obviously running and stuff, and they had their trail trainers on. But you know, for walking, yeah, definitely like a good pair of waterproof hiking boots. But yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable with them on Everest Base Camp, then I'd say you'd be, you know, comfortable with them on TMB.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely agree.
I use my like very, very old high tech. They're like 8 years old. Sorry,
Rosie's still struggling a little bit.
Sorry, I'm like trying so hard to like swallow the coughs. And like I like did have a blister that was horrendous, but they served the purpose. You know, they were absolutely grand. Andrew has asked, please could you talk about the ease of visa application and entry requirements? Yeah, you don't.
Is that for TMB?
I'm assuming it's for TMB. I'm guessing it's for TMB.
If it's not for TMB, let us know. But yeah, there's no sort of entry requirements or visa applications for any of it. We were talking about this actually when we would you'd go from, we started in Italy, and the first day you go into Switzerland, don't you, on the first hike, sorry. And you're like expecting, I think we took our passports, didn't we, the first day in our day back.
She did say we didn't need them. And I think we were both like, I don't believe you. So I am just gonna like take them with us just in case. And then we're like, oh yeah, we can just like roam around, like go from country to country. Yeah. It was a bit of a running joke, wasn't it? Though, like, you know, could have like smuggled an awful lot of drugs, but yeah, like.
And it was just remembering to change your merci or grazie.
Yeah,
or
bonjour. That did catch us out a few times, didn't it? But and that's one thing to be said. Like they were a lot, like everywhere we went, they were all really good English speaking. Obviously it's really nice to obviously learn, you know, the basics. And you know, our guide Nadia, she obviously could speak, you know, she's Italian, but could speak, you know, very good in all kind of 3 languages. She was really good English, French and everything. So yeah, like, you know, like Jerome was so kind of enthusiastic about, you know, learning more kind of words and stuff, which is so good. You know, if we go into these countries, we're quite obnoxious, aren't we, really, here? Yeah, because everyone speaks English. But it is good, you know, if you can just say like hello, thank you, and muddle your way through. I think they do appreciate the effort.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was a good thing. Was there any other questions? I feel like we've gone through most things. Is that everything on the actual trip that did we talk about? What was your like favorite section?
Oh, it's difficult, that. What about you? While I'm trying to do you have a favorite part?
I liked that second day. There was on this, I think it was like this, or the second hiking day, where we went through like it was like a big incline. We went through all the forest, then we went over those like waterfally sections. It was beautiful. And we like walked along like this, like literally it was like a river, wasn't it, that we were walking along for a bit.
Yeah.
Like obviously so shallow, but Nadia was actually saying that the group that the EverTrek group that she'd taken the month before, when it was like horrendous weather, they all took their shoes and socks off and like were walking along it like barefoot, which would have been pretty cool. But yeah, that I think I really liked it. And then we kind of got up to the top of this section. Like it was a pretty steep climb, wasn't it? And then it kind of opened up and you could see like beautiful views. There was this like big pasture and all the cows, and you can hear the cows like every day. You can hear the bells because they all wear these like huge bells on their necks. And you literally like walk right through this herd of cows. Bless them, they all been eaten alive by like
it was
by flies and stuff. But and then that's where we like literally like the cows were here, and then we stopped like that like really sweet cafe for the ROSIE.
It was lovely.
And yeah, that was a real. And then we went down the other side of the mountain, and we got some local ice cream as well. Then so yeah, that was really cool.
I think Zach's just put on the voting things well.
Oh so yeah. Oh, it's 24 already.
I know.
That's flown by. He's just like, wrap it up, guys.
I know. He has said he's going to play a video out as well.
Yes, I have seen that message. I don't know what video.
Just quickly to add to that.
Yeah.
Probably my favourite day was probably the last day. Not because
my God.
Maybe partly because of that. But the views now were like incredible on that day. And that place that we went for food there, I know it was a little hiker. But we
by a little hike up, it took us like less than 5 minutes.
But it was like this.
But we were told that there was no more uphill after we'd reached the pass, and then we were like walking on flat for quite a bit. And then Nadia was like, "Yeah, that's where we're going for lunch." And we were like, "What do you mean? Like you said we weren't going uphill anymore."
No, that place where we had food was really nice, wasn't it? Like overlooking.
Great food as well. We were back in Italy, weren't we? At that point, so we were like pasta and gnocchi. Oh my God, it was amazing.
So I did, and the sort of the lakes and things there. Were really, really pretty. So I think that was probably one of my.
Yeah, it was like so blue. Like the water's incredible, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Kev's just come on to say hello.
Oh,
you've missed us, Kev.
Bit late, Kev. I think we've answered everyone's questions, but if you do think of anything, like do just send us an email. More than happy to kind of like chat through our time and recommendations or anything that you need. It's really exciting. This next group's going in like 2 weeks now, and then busy next year as well. So yeah, if you are like looking to go on, like, you know, it was hard, but
it was definitely worth
it was you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it was amazing. Kev said best lunch ever, worst walk up. I think we'd fired off, hadn't we? So we were just like, we were watching everyone just like this, like walking.
We sat at the top just like looking at them.
Right. Jerome says brilliant TTI, yay. Hopefully everyone found it useful, and looking forward to seeing you all out there. Perfect. Right, Zach, hit it.